Thanks for watching News Echoes World Affairs. Today we bring you news around the globe and try and put some analysis so that you might have an informed opinion. My name is Shegun Johnson, and it's not me alone in the studio. We have all the way from Toronto, Sir George. Sir George, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Johnson. Good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our show today.
From Lagos is the pretty Bidi. Bidi, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shegu. Good morning, everyone in the studio, our viewers around the world. Good to have you again. Let's do it like always.
Thank you. And in faraway Milan is the massive Mark. Mark Godwin, you're welcome to the program.
Morning, Dr. Shagun. Morning, beautiful people of Africa. Great people of Africa. I greet you all.
Yeah, and all other parts of the world. And
other parts of
because we have a worldwide
yes, and Dr. Sita is
in Abuja, we in the seat of power, Nigerian power. We have Dr. Osita Anyemeka. Dr. Osi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson, and welcome to the show, yes, around the world.
Yes, let's start something that connects Nigeria and the United Kingdom. The news broke out last Wednesday as we are rounding up that the Labour presidential candidate, who at the moment is in court trying to fight for his mandate, was arrested, detained, and questioned in the United Kingdom by the immigration officials, allegedly because of one impostor who has been going around that is Peter Obi. We don't know how many hours he was questioned for. Eventually, he was released, but that was enough to make a lot of news in Nigeria to stab him from the back and destroy his reputation. Damage was done, and then he came out to say that, yes, I was queried because of one impostor, but how it all went, we really don't know. We're inside the questioning room. And I just simply wonder if the image of Peter Obi, the real Peter Obi, was not enough to inform the British immigration that this is the real Peter. If that was the story, but we've seen many high-profile Nigerian officials being arrested in the UK, detained, and then oftentimes put to prison. Dr. Osita, let me first of all ask, how did you read this news in Nigeria before I ask my other colleague?
It was, like you said, last Wednesday, while we were still on the program, the news broke, and then it's ever since then, it's been one version or the other. But the truth about it is that Peter Obi luckily lives in the UK. It was easy for him to find his real identity shown, because otherwise what would have happened would have been so terrible. But the question we keep asking here, right here in Abuja, is that after all these shenanigans and an attempt to ruin his reputation, what if in the end this whole thing goes in his favor and he becomes the president of Nigeria? What happens to all these people? That was the first question that we asked ourselves. So the issue is that they are trying to, to maim him. They are trying to destroy him. They are trying to give him all the bad names in the world. Why? Because they never expected that Peter Obi will be the one that they are fighting. They don't know what to do with him. They didn't believe that he would be the one that they are fighting now. Because the truth about it is that the country they voted him as president, and somebody stole his mandate. And the good news is we are working so very hard to make sure that this country has a good name within the global polity.
Before I ask my colleagues in diaspora, let's see how they copied it in Lagos. Bidi, how did you guys copy that particular news in Lagos? Was it, yes, good for him, or was it these people are using techniques to get Peter Obi?
When the news broke out in Nigeria, they were not happy. In fact, initially they doubted it. And the next thing, people were openly accusing APC for being behind this. Nigerians in social media openly, they did not hold their thoughts or their insinuation. They openly accused APC for being behind this. Nigerian, they, even till now, even when the said apology came, Nigerian has been carrying it along. Now, having said that, the UK, even when they were questioning him, they already know that there was an imposter. So my question is this: when you know there's an imposter who is impersonating this man, why detaining him that way? Is there not better way they would have at least questioned him, send him a message? So why detaining him that way in the airports with your immigration? Because from day one, when they detained him there, they knew there was an imposter impersonating this person. So it goes down with what most Nigerians has been saying, that British has been instrumental to most of Nigerians' problem, and they are still not giving up. They are still behind whatever problem Nigeria has been having politically. So I think
And I think a follow-up question is: this imposter, has he been found since then, or is still at large? That's a follow-up question, isn't it?
yeah, there is a picture they sent to us, and the write up, going by what Nigerians have been saying. There's a picture. I have the picture. I would have sent it to Massive Man. The
I've
guy
not seen the
has been
picture
found,
myself, but it's okay.
and
Uh,
the amount that was paid to him, this was allegedly, and the money that was paid to him, and they said that this money was paid through Imo State government. And if you look at all this thing, the connection, the rumor, the alleged everything, it has connection with all APC members.
okay, it's getting bigger than I thought now. Let me ask those in diaspora. Sir George, you live in Toronto, Canada. How did you copy into all of this?
Well, this is an open secret. I mean, it's not a hidden secret that countries like UK would rather have either a sick president of Nigeria or unintelligent president of Nigeria. They are afraid of anybody who is smart as they are or even more intelligent than they are to rise up in the country called Nigeria to begin to reshuffle all the mess that has been done for the past 100 years. So we can blame APC all we want to. It has nothing to do, APC might have been instrumental, but the main people that we need to talk about is UK, Britain. They have all the intelligence. Whoever this imposter is, there's a way to have communicated, like Vidi said, they saw the entire thing to them. But this is something that shows you that they rather have somebody who is not smart enough or who they can control to rule Nigeria. So if they don't have anything against you, what I'm seeing right here is what US was doing when Obama came out. They did everything humanly possible to find something on him. When they could not, they had to back off.
Yeah.
So the point is, we know, I believe personally that UK was very instrumental in trying to degrade this man, in trying to publicly find something on him so that they can quiet his mouth and quiet his resolve and everything that he's doing. But you see, my only thing now is that I want United Kingdom to pay attention to what's happening in in France today with all the countries, the allied countries in Africa that are dropping them like a hot
Potato.
potato sack. because it's going to happen to United Kingdom if they're not careful. If they begin to openly come against certain group of people that like they have done, even during the war, it's an open secret that because of their financial gain in Nigeria and all the things they have done to siphon our resources, that they continue to make sure that no intelligent person rises up in Nigeria to be able to take that country to the level where it's supposed to be as the giant of Africa. Because if they're not careful, something might happen what is happening in France will happen to UK.
Thank
That's
you,
all
sir.
I can say for now.
Mark, how do you react to that? If Peter Obi had an imposter, definitely Peter Obi cannot be imposing himself as Peter Obi. They should be looking for the one who is the imposter. But they are now looking for, they have now detained and to some extent damage his reputation. He can't be an imposter of himself, can he? I mean, they should be looking for the other man if the story is true. Mark,
They should be looking for the other man if the story is true, Dr. Shago. Um, yes, it was a sad thing during the Easter break over an offense that's believed to be by an imposter. The presidential candidate of LP uh, ran into that very ugly situation. Um, yes, we saw the picture of the young man they claim to be that imposter, but we want to be very accurate. Nobody wants to, because what is happening in Nigeria now is, listen to these guys. There is heavy move of manipulation and twisting issues, turning around news, and all doing all kinds of doctoring pictures and manipulating pictures, and we don't know where this is coming from. So we don't want to be putting out images of anybody anyhow because some people just came up with some text and a photo. So yes, there's a young man that claimed that they say is the poster, but it's still not confirmed. It's not authenticated. So, but
okay,
I want to also use this medium as a media house to tell Nigerians. I've been saying this in so many blogs. There's so much twisting of issues and compounding and making issues complex. All kind of situations getting more bigger. We are putting on the cracked walls and expanding it again by creating so much controversy in every issue. So please, let's get facts checked, properly checked before we spread it out. A lot of fake news are running around, Dr. Shego. So that's
all
what I
right.
want to say.
Uh, Thank you very much. Dr. Sita, if indeed there was an imposter, and with the caliber of Peter Obi, a formidable presidential candidate who is still fighting for his mandate, the level of British intelligence, shouldn't they have gone to his house or his hotel to ask him certain questions and say, "Do you know this man? This man has been posting himself as yourself, and what will you have to tell us or say?" Why wait for him at the airport the same way they waited for Ekwere Madu? Why wait till the airport if not to disgrace him?
My colleagues have said it already. Diplomacy does not even allow what he did. The fact that he is contesting for presidency in Nigeria, a country like Nigeria, they owe him this simple respect of following him. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter for how long they do. They are supposed to watch him. They would have watched him for weeks. There will be two teams. One team watching one of the impostor. One team watching the real person. They don't have the, I will not say right now because intelligence can say anything. It is not proper for British intelligence to do what it did. They used what you call global might. The fact that the person was on their land, they used that to to disgrace him. You use the word, but I didn't want to use that word. To disgrace him, because if not for that, there is no reason why they wouldn't have followed him to anywhere he was going to. Even if he was going to Buckingham Palace, they will follow him and then find a time to speak with him. Assure him that nothing will happen to him, but they're going to
Mm.
keep one or two security officers around him, and then go out and look for the other person. That is what they do. Not for them to, even if they have accosted him in his hotel room, they are not supposed to make it public. It will have been one silent issue, going back and forth for several meetings before they make an announcement. What they did was wrong. What they did would demand an apology. What they did will be remembered for a very long time. And like my
I
colleagues
thought
said,
somebody told me they have made an apology. The UK government made an apology.
no,
But
that was demanded. The apology I'm talking about is something that they will come very, very openly in a very long letter, and then the head of the intelligence will come openly and apologize to the whole world for what they did, and that it will not happen again. There is always a promise. There's always a caveat after that apology that it will never happen again. What it means is that even if they apprehend the man who is the impostor, they will make sure that he is really the impostor before they make it public. And they use also that to apologize further. That is exactly what we're expecting from them. This is not going to end just like that.
Dr. Johnson, Dr.
yes,
Johnson,
sir. Yes, sir.
this young man, Peter Obi, was in Chatham House. His
That's
picture
right.
posted all over, even all the newspapers in London. They know who he is. There is no question about that. If there were not a lot of people at the airport who started making noise and shouting, who knows what would have happened? So what we're trying to say, we're excusing, giving excuses sometimes to these governments in the atrocities that they are doing. We know what is going on. The amount of him, but it's very, very possible that it's not even an imposter or an allowed imposter. So who is going to take the downfall for this? Where is the picture of the imposter? Because they ought to know that somebody else is doing something, and there is no way they're going to tell us that they don't know who that is. So for now, if they are stopping this Peter Obi at the airport, handing him a detention paper, bringing him out to question him before they continue with the mess they wanted to do to his image, if people were not crying, there is a possibility that they would have detained this man and then later on come out to apologize because they want to mess up his image. I mean,
Yeah.
Think about it. There are something I will expect a country from Africa to do, not a great country like Great Britain. Come on, we know the secret. We know what is going on. They can't fool us anymore. People need to understand we are living in a different technological advanced world today. It is not easy for them to get away with what they did in the 60s, in the 70s, and in the 80s. So, it seems like this is a deliberate attempt by the government of United Kingdom to disgrace this man because they don't want him to become the president of Nigeria. They don't know what
I
Coupled with
honestly,
what you said, Dr. Shegun, coupled with what
yes.
he said, you said this earlier, Peter Obi has lived in the UK. In
his
fact,
family is
for
there.
decades now. So how come they don't know who he is? How come they claim that somebody else is who he is? So really, with George, what George is saying, there is something there. The British government is doing up to some cynical, some back.
Let me add to that. I've been living in this country for several years. I've known about the stories of identity theft. Many people, they want to become British citizens. They go and clone passports, clone driver's licenses, and eventually the British government will be looking for the real person. And because most people are ordinary, then you follow the two people, the genuine and the fake, until you discern who the fake was. Now, when it happened to a man I knew, he was a Nigerian. He came into the country and wanted to get uh, papers for his wife. And when they sent in the papers to the Home Office, they discovered that another man was bearing the same name and the same date of birth. And so they invited him to the Home Office, and he went with all his papers and proved that he was the real man. And the fake man never showed up because he was calling to bring in all his papers, and the fake man never showed up. In the case of Peter Obi, the British government will not need anyone, will not need any paper to identify Peter Obi. His faces are chronologically and digitally registered in the system as the presidential candidate through the Chatham House, through several businesses, and therefore, just like your digital passport, once it gets into their system, it is Peter Obi. He's no longer the impostor. Therefore, to draw him aside in the face of everybody by the immigration, trying to question a man that was traveling out was the height of rubbish. And people should tell the British government that you don't do that to important personalities of other countries.
Um,
Uh,
Dr. Johnson, let me
yes,
ask you. Let me ask this question. What was the imposter status for? You just said something now. Somebody
yes,
stole someone's identity to become,
yeah, a British
British.
citizen. Yes.
What is
Mm.
this imposting for?
I don't know. Nobody
What
is
was
telling
it
us
used for?
anything.
What would somebody become an imposter, a clone of Peter B for? Because of what? Because I know. I mean, just
Dr. Star, let me answer that question. The imposter
answer.
is out to tarnish the image of Peter Obi, because if you listen to the report, they say the imposter has been going about committing crime. Their target, their aim is to tarnish the image of Peter Obi. And the
What
British,
kind of crime? What kind of crime?
Exactly.
they
Exactly.
didn't state it, but that was what they wrote there. They didn't state
Because
the,
Peter Obi
the
will
If
not
crime.
there is
commit
an
crime. He's a
imposter,
presidential
That, that's the
candidate, for
Exactly.
point.
God's
So
sake.
British government, they
no,
are aware of
no,
what they are doing.
listen.
And
That is the
Nigerians
point.
are
Where is
Nigerians
the
are
imposter? Who is the imposter? There is no
Exactly.
imposter. It's an
Exactly.
alleged.
Yeah. Where is
There is
he?
no imposter.
I mean, exactly. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
what
beauty of the
what is
that's
he
imposter.
where I'm
posting
coming.
for?
That's where I'm coming to also. That's why I said, please don't, BD. Let's not go with that picture and that story that is going around social media. That might just be another catfishing, something to distract people's attention. The British government knows whoever it is that is an imposter. They know it. They know that person's image. They know that person's face. So they have not brought up anything. This one is coming from the Nigerian social media. So I don't want us to run with that. That's why I'm telling the public also. Don't believe
Yes,
everything
but
that comes
Bidi is
across.
telling us that this is what is going on the social
Yes,
media. This is what they
yes,
have caused. They genuinely brought it to pass so that we'll be distracted, we'll be facing, running after shadow instead of the seriousness of who is the Nigerian president. That's what they planned. That's
that's
what they planned. Let them chase shadow. So BD is telling us this is the causal issue. I mean, this is the result of the arrest and all the rest. So they are being successful in manipulating us, diverting our thinkings, and all the rest. This is part of the gimmicks, and I think. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for exhausting that one. Those who want to continue to give respect to Peter Obi, who knows? This may boost his image even more within and outside Nigeria. We'll leave it at that. The way we respect British authorities, Could they please do the same thing to our own leaders? We'll be very much grateful for that. Um, well, good news on the British soil. King Charles III is going to be coronated on the 6th of May. And the major news have been around the return of Harry and Meghan. And many people have been feeling jittery. If they don't come, that coronation will not be the same. And the news here in London is that Harry did not say whether they were coming or not. They were formally invited. Their spaces were waiting, but they needed to fill all the spaces. Prince Charles has invited 850 charity organization staff who have been doing very well to these 2,000 strong member who will be attending. And so is everything is getting excited in the United Kingdom. You enter any store, Marks and Spencer's, Tesco, Sainsbury, all of them showing King Charles and Queen Camilla. It's no longer to be called Queen Consort anymore. It's going to be Queen Camilla. So everything is getting excited here. But the only snag they've not been able to discern was Harry and Meghan. Finally, 2 days ago, Harry said, "I'll be attending without my wife." That did not go down well with some people. Let me start from Toronto, Canada, because Canada is very close. The king is still the king of Canada. How did you copy that one, Sir George?
Well, I'm very glad that Prince Harry is going. Um, but I'm quite sure there's been news flying all over that the British government did not want the wife Meghan to come, Princess Meghan to come. So, but the truth is that I think it was her that basically declined from going, simply because of what has happened in the past and all the secrets that were revealed about their open rejection of who she is and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that Prince Harry made up his mind to go. It's fitting. I don't think and all the mess that is going on should not allow him to show up for his father's coronation. And I'm happy that he is. Besides, anyway, family is still family, regardless of what the people and tradition and culture might be doing. Family
Mm.
should stick together. So let them find a way to mediate between one another and continue
Thank
with
you.
their family the way they ought to be.
Thank you, sir. Bidi, how did you feel? Meghan is not going. This is the wife of Prince Harry. How do you feel as a lady?
Dr. Shegun, when I read that story yesterday, I was so happy. If you know how happy I was, you might not understand. See, this news came from a place of words. Megan is a woman of what? Who knows who she is, who regards herself. She's not coming. That's okay. That's better. Now, another thing that caught my attention is the action of Prince, sorry, King Charles, King Charles, who said he's not happy, he's disappointed that Meghan and his grandchildren are not coming. Now, my question is this: King Charles, being prince for a very long time, has actually affected his acts of fatherliness inside of who he is. He was there when Princess Kate said Meghan cannot come here, that she will not be accepted. Is he trying to tell me all this while that he don't know what has been going on? Even if Meghan is your sister, any of you in this studio, you will not advise Meghan to attend that event. She made a very good and intelligent decision. The only thing is that I might not be watching that show because Meghan is not coming. A touch of class will be missing in that coronation. A touch of fierce that will be missing in that coronation. As for that decision, it was the nice decision she has made. She wants to maintain who she is, her words. You don't mess up with me. I'm still Meghan. I love that. I love that decision.
Well,
It's the
we know
best
that
for me.
Meghan is 41% Nigerians, and many Nigerians will have wanted to see Meghan there. It's not going to be the end of this discussion. We're going on a short break. When we return, we still want to look at what King Charles will mean to Nigeria, and if our own dear girl, Nigerian American Meghan is not there. I want to hear what Dr. Osita will say, a renowned professor of diplomacy and a renowned proprietor of an African university. I would want to hear what Massive Mark will say concerning this issue, because the crown is coming again. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Arise, oh, compatriots, Nigeria's call, obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Thank you for staying with us. It's News Echoes bringing you news from all over the world and putting some analysis so that you can have an informed opinion. My colleagues are on here with me. Dr. Sita, we're talking about the King's coronation. Do you know whether President Buhari will be attending personally, or he's sending his deputy?
Is that for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear that. But Buhari might, it's a might now, he might be there personally. But I think a major part of it all is that almost everybody in his cabinet will be attending. Not because
Oh,
they were, not because, yes, not because they were invited, but because of the fanfare. But if you ask me, you might be surprised in May to find Meghan attending. You might be surprised. I have my
yeah, that would
reasons.
be.
Yes, you will be surprised because she also has her own metal. She has quite a lot for herself. So her presence there will boost her. Her presence there will create the force that she's looking for, and the force too that will help King Charles move forward. This will be the only coronation in the next couple of years, in the
Yeah.
next maybe in the next 30, 40 years, because given the
Now,
longevity, yes, given the longevity of the
Dr. Tita, I have a question for you, quick one,
okay.
because now we know through the ex-British High Commissioner in Nigeria, Ms. Lang,
Yes.
that she's in favor of President-elect Tinubu. Do you think they can pull a fast one by inviting him just to make their point known if the British prefers Tinubu? And Buhari was not there the other time. It was Oshibajo he sent. And therefore, if Buhari is still not coming, mainly because Buhari sees himself as gone anyway as the president of Nigeria, Do you think they can pull a fast one and bring in Tinubu? And if so, will it affect any? Will it be a diplomatic rupture or what?
No, no, they wouldn't invite him. Diplomatically, they wouldn't invite him, but Tinubu will go. They're not going to invite
No,
him.
there's no space. If you are not invited, you don't have a seat. I can assure you.
Listen, I have an invitation card myself. I have one. No, 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 no. I'm being real. So
Okay.
the issue, the issue is
You mean
not
invitation
whether
card to stand on the road?
he can always get an invitation card. He can get an
Yeah.
invitation card. He can get it overnight. He can get it now, the next minute. But the issue is that it will not be official, but the people who are behind him will make noise with it. That is the kind of people that we're looking at. Those are the ones that are destroying us. They, they are cheap. They are untrained. They are uncouth. You see this problem of Nigeria is just there, uniquely growing, and we are going down the drain every day by by the minute. We are not happy with it, and then it's continuing. But like I
I,
said,
I think if Tinubu is invited and he should accept, it will be a diplomatic coup against Atiku and Obi. But let's hear from Europe. Massive Mark, how is Europe waiting for King Charles III to be coronated?
Yes, Europe is waiting, Dr. Shagun. Yes, I'm going with Dr. OC on that one of Meghan might show up because her excuse presently is Archie's birthday, the son. The son's birthday falls the same time that weekend. So she says they have to celebrate Prince Archie's birthday. So that is not too tangible to back out from this once in couple of decades event. So yes, Europe is looking forward to it. We know everything the English people does. It's so organized. The numbers of invited guests have been planned. Any other person might just be standing by the road, like you said, Dr. Shagun. You know,
Mm.
standing by the road, and but you still get a glimpse of the fun fair. I mean that beautiful atmosphere.
Yeah,
So, but people are not in a haste to say I'm going there because
yeah. The,
security
the, the
tight.
coach the king will be using is all gold and well polished. Is that Dr. Ibe I'm seeing in the studio?
Yes, Dr. Ibe is here.
Dr. Ibe, Russia, let's just move on from Britain to Russia. Russia has just purchased some weapons, or they are putting into use some weapons we have never seen before. And I wonder why they will be firing hypersonic missiles into Ukraine at a time like this. We understand that this hypersonic, nothing can possibly stop them so far. They are almost unstoppable. Why will Russia want to do this one? Honestly, we want to hear from you. Ukraine, we understand many of them are Russian culturally. Why will Russia want to do that? I'm so glad you are here. You are welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Unfortunately, in a war, the question why would you shoot is very interesting. But it's clear that in any conflict, which we are hoping that there will be peace and there will be without precondition, everyone will come to the negotiation table. But obviously, while this draws out Russia versus Ukraine, Russia versus NATO, NATO-backed Ukraine. There would definitely be lots of casualties, side effects, not only military but economically, politically, socioeconomically, and diplomatically as well. We can see also the sanctions are not really working. Even the West admits it. The economy of Russia is it has its weaknesses, but it's a fortress of its own. Then you also talk about the weapons from the West and the East. They have lots of classified military development programs. So only when the need
Okay.
comes
Okay,
out
okay.
that you might see use.
Dr. Ibe, please listen to the news, and we just want to make sense out of it. And you are a very balanced person. We are always proud of you, so that's why we're bringing this to educate not only us in the studio but around the globe. This news says in an early morning attack on targets across the country, Russian forces apparently added several hypersonic missiles known as Kinzals or daggers in Russia to the
Kinja.
leather loop. Okay, pronunciation. Ukrainian forces say their defensive capabilities are not up to the task of taking out a Kinshasa. Six Kinshas were included in Thursday's attack, according to Ukrainian defense forces. Now, these are, I understand, devastating hypertonic missiles. We all want everybody to come to the negotiation table. Please, Dr. Ebe, how will this help to bring them to this negotiation table?
I don't see how. Although I want, I don't see how. Because everybody have put their reputation on the line, and they have all stated it that they want to defeat the other militarily. Not, they don't want to defeat the other by words. They don't want to defeat the other by I don't know, symbolism. They want the defeat to be clean, clear cut on the battlefield. So with such a stance, but we can see that Russia is making significant gains in places like Bakhmut. They've just taken Solidar and what do you call this? All these places
Okay,
around. They've quite almost
what will pacify Russia if they don't want to obliterate the whole of Ukraine? What is it that will pacify them?
the yeah, the same thing, the same
That's a
way,
very
the same way. Yeah, the same way US were pacified in the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's the same way Russia will be pacified in the Ukraine crisis. They consider
Are
Ukraine
you
their
sure? Are
backyard
you
and they
sure? The
want.
US never fired a gun. They simply blocked the Russian frigate.
No, I'm
They did.
speaking about. I'm speaking road doctrine. I'm speaking about the Monroe Doctrine. It's something. And the Monroe Doctrine is an invention of the U.S. that they cannot allow an enemy in their backyard in terms of whether it's for whatever reason, whether they are friends. So even the Soviet Union could not deploy a missile to a friendly nation, then Cuba, because the U.S. considered it a backyard. The same way Russia cites that same Monroe Doctrine that Ukraine. Well, Finland don't care, but Ukraine, no. They also in the news said that Poland trying to take Western Ukraine. They've also said it's a no-go. They've deployed missiles to Belarus. By July, it should be seated in Belarus. That's like some people say that it's a warning to Poland that in West Ukraine they are not ready to give it up. So. Yeah, that's just
Okay.
so you
Let me
can
allow
read. You
other
can.
members to say something because I don't know whether America has put up some missile uh, factory in Ukraine right now. Sir George, you want to quickly chip in something?
I think nuclear deployment in Poland. I don't know if it has been done, but there was a plan for that.
no. It hasn't been done. It hasn't been done. Let me
Sir
chip in
George,
something. Let me chip in something. Yes, Russia is bringing in some new arsenal to this war, but you see, the thing is, the target of Russia, like what we're studying, is not working. Russia had hoped to break the morale of the Ukrainians by depriving them of water, electricity, and some basic needs. And all this thing is not working. Ukraine is bouncing back. Support is helping Ukraine. Now Russia is trying to
Ukraine
take.
is losing territory. Ukraine is losing territory.
Yes. Now Russia
What
is
is
trying to
not
take.
working? What do you mean by not working? They've just taken Solidar. What do you mean by not working? People are dying every day. What do you mean not working?
No.
Von der Leyen said 100K
No.
people are.
Yes,
What
people are
should
dying.
work in a war?
People are dying, but the aim, there was a main target, and Russia is not getting to that target. Now,
You think so? You think so?
This is why
Anyway.
Russia is now trying to hyper the whole arsenal, and this is not good. It's not good at all.
Okay. I'm going to ask both of you to
Sorry,
talk.
just
Let's
one second.
hear
Just one second. The NATO is increasing the variety of weapons that are being supplied to Ukraine. Does it mean that they are not working as well? So we can use that your logic and expand it. Because before tanks were not supplied. Do you want to say because the previous one were not?
But take note also that the
that logic, I think if you
listen, take
applied
note
also
that the
to the NATO
anti-aircraft
supplies, it will also not be
defense.
a good
Take note
logic.
that excuse me, Ukraine has an anti-aircraft defense, and that has really helped effectively in this whole whatever.
But they said they don't
No,
have the
that's
word to
not
stop
true.
the
That's not
supply.
true. They said they don't.
No.
They said they
Listen,
don't. They admitted
I'm
it.
speaking. I'm speaking from. I'm a member of the EU media.
Both Ukraine and the West
So
admitted that
we don't just
It's
talk.
not.
We
It's
we,
not
we
my
know what
opinion.
we're saying.
They admitted
Now,
it.
Okay.
No,
Let's
Ukraine
hear our
and the
other
West
colleagues.
admitted it.
Sir George, how do you see all of this now?
This is like cat and mouse type of situation.
Tom and Jerry, here we
And
go.
human elements are involved in this. Pride and ego is all infused into the whole entire thing. See, because when we're talking about these things, we're talking about human lives that are wasted, generations of people wasted simply because of, countries, that are, vying for this or trying to prevent this or whatever the case might be. What we're talking about is human people, generations of people dying daily, being killed and slaughtered, bringing weapons and all that kind of stuff. See, the only problem we have here is if Russia succeeds in what it's trying to do, and this is part of the reason why the China is waiting to see how this war will end up before they attack Taiwan. They already started. So, what you're seeing right here is we are going way back to the 40s and the 30s. And that's what we're seeing, where we used to relatively live in a peaceful world where every sovereign country can maintain their own territorial integrity. All of a sudden, there are bullying countries all over the place looking for what is wrong with Ukraine maintaining its sovereignty and being a country of its own, or Taiwan either. Now, I can understand that Russia have a reason, and I say that again, they have a reason to not allow Ukraine to become part of NATO. Because, think about it. They have a reason to fight for their own, defense system, and not to allow the enemy to come closer in order to be, to be able to listen to their intelligence. They have to protect themselves. But what I'm saying is there got to be a common level of understanding that can be reached, so people will stop dying. If human element is not involved, right now, Putin is not going to put down his gun. I can guarantee you that, because of the kind of person he is. And then Ukraine is because
and presently he's sick.
We're not to put that. We're not to put that. We're not to put that. We're not to put down their gun because of the kind of person they are. We're not to put down their gun because of the kind of people they are. No.
Sorry, Dr. Shagun. Putin is presently on the sick bed going to chemotherapy. Yes, as of this morning.
How do you know that? We don't know that.
I won't comment on sickness. I won't comment on sickness of leaders because I can extend it, but I won't go that. I won't go that dirty route.
Now, let's get back to politics. Dr. Ostita, now I want to ask you a serious question. In 1944, when the United Nations was inaugurated, their preamble was that having spanned two generations of war and having seen the devastation, we don't want any world war anymore. The United Nations was then formed, with the United Nations Security Council having 5 permanent members, that if these 5 should agree, no force on earth will finish them. Was the United Nations short-sighted that one of them, or possibly 2 of them, Russia and China, as the case may be, may now fight the remaining 3? Were they short-sighted, or they just assume these 5 will always be together, no force on earth will be able to come against them? What is going on? They don't want the Third World War to happen, but it appears the Third World War is coming.
Short-sightedness, dangerous short-sightedness, because they had felt at that time, they had felt that it was possible for them to contain, that once the 5 of them agree, they can contain the situation in all the countries. Do you think that Russia if they decide to crush Ukraine, they cannot do that in the next couple of months. If they decide to, do you think they will not? But the issue is this: Putin, being who he is using the war to assert his strength, to assert his position. He's not doing this because he wants to plan to withdraw. No, he's going to stretch this war, no matter what it takes him. Stretch this war to a point where everybody agrees with him that NATO next door is not right. It's simple statement. He's making his statement the way he knows how to. Any other country will have done it differently, but he is going to fight this war so piecemeal. Putin can stand up tomorrow and just say, "Let Ukraine go," and the country will go. Whatever comes
run
out
over
of
Ukraine, like
yes, whatever comes out of it will be aftermath, will be after the fact. So let's watch this war. We are watching the war in a way that if there was another president in Ukraine today, it might not be this way. If there was another president, somebody far away from what the actor is,
Exactly.
yes, it will be very different. So let's not push this
All right.
and then begin to
I'm,
pray.
I'm just mindful of time
Pray.
because there are many things to discuss here. We will have loved Dr. Obi to throw more light. It's been very good to us in the studio. But let's move on to the last topic of the day, and I'm starting from BD in Lagos. Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, went to the United States of America and granted interviews, and it did not sync very well with many Nigerians, especially those who are in the opposing camps of APC. He said that the election, the February 25 election and subsequent elections were the best we've ever seen in Nigeria. We have a clip from the studio before BD comes
yes,
up. Studio, can we have that?
And we took action.
Minister, when you're not stonewalling on requests for information, you're taking radio stations off the air and having reporters arrested or beaten. June last year, you tried shutting down Nigeria's oldest private TV channel, as well as radio stations owned by a member of the opposition PDP, Raymond Doc Pacey. A federal court overturned your suspension, but the Nigerian Guild of Editors called this a barbaric crackdown on free speech. Why are you launching a barbaric crackdown on free speech?
I think there's a lot of ignorance and a lot of mischief.
The editors don't know what they're talking about.
No, Radio Dopesi's station was closed down because he owed the national regulator, not because of the news he was pushing out.
And in January last year, soldiers raided the offices of one of your leading papers, the Daily Trust, and arrested reporters. In March, a journalist who'd been held for 2 years was rearrested. You rank 120th out of 180 countries in the Press Freedom Index of Reporters Without Borders. It's not a glorious record, is it, Minister?
Well, I think when it comes to freedom of the press, we're doing extremely very well. If papers run foul of the law, they must face the consequences. But when you have virtually 100 newspapers in the country, and you are citing the example of one newspaper that was closed down in a year, I think it should be fair to us that we have a very robust free press.
Amnesty International says that between January and September last year, at least 19 journalists and media practitioners were attacked. Those attacks include verbal and physical.
Thank you very much, Studio. BD, was the Minister of Information doing justice to those questions, or what do you think?
Lai Mohammed can never do justice to any question you ask him. I'm sorry, that's why a lot of Nigerians has misinterpreted his name from Lai Mohammed to lying. Lying means being dishonest. So that's it. Now, the question he's been asked there, it's very, very practical. And it's actually what is happening in Nigeria today. Lai Mohammed and Buhari-led administration, they have successfully destroyed the NBC in Nigeria. NBC in Nigeria is supposed to be an independent body. But what Lai Mohammed, who called himself minister and Buhari-led administration, is that they've used NBC to witch hunt people. If the story is not going their own way, if they have been able to design a way to tell whatever story or whatever narrative they are pushing in Nigeria to go at a particular direction they want it. And what is not going towards that direction, it becomes an issue. Like what the question the man has asked him, he has not answered any of the question. He has succeeded in dodging them and saying whatever thing he likes. And that is actually the major problem we have in Nigeria. So what am I even going to talk about? He always lives to his name. He's lying. He keep lying.
Let me see whether Dr. Sita will agree with you. Dr. Sita, do you agree with Billy?
Of course, I agree with Billy. I live here in this country. I have seen the effect of what he does. I teach journalism, so this is not what I teach my students. The issue with him, like any other voice of government in the last 20 years, they speak what they want people to hear. They speak what their what's it called, their employer would want to hear. And now they go all the way. They can actually spend the next budget trying to defend their lies. They go all the way to do whatever it is. You need to know what these people do behind the doors to kill stories. You need to know the amount of threats journalists get. You need to know the amount of impossible demands that they make from these journalists. And then when the journalists say no, they're in trouble for a very long time. It does not end with that particular issue. They stretch it. They can arrest you, and then
let's ask our other colleagues if they will agree. Sir George, I thought Lai Mohammed was doing justice to the image of Nigeria. I mean, he couldn't agree with all those allegations, will he?
Well, think about it. You know, he's a politician. He's an APC member, and he's a candidate just won. So what do you expect him to do? I mean, quite naturally, just like what BD said, you know, he's living up to his name. You know, so I mean, we've seen him talk from two sides of his mouth. Now he's being grilled on specific facts and truths that came out that is well known around the world. You know, but I think he's living up to his name. That's all I can say about that.
Dr. Obi, you think you are proud of him, the way he answered those questions from that journalist? Is Dr. Obi still with us?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here, sorry.
Are you proud the way Lai
Yes.
Mohammed answered the questions?
No matter what he says, it's like irrelevant to me because I'm more concerned about the result. And when we look at Dubai, a country that used to be just a desert, you know, many years ago, and now it has, you know, a lot of things going on there, not only an oil superpower, but also tourism superpower. It makes me wonder if our leaders don't really dream of making Nigeria great. We have all it takes. We have more resources probably than Dubai. We have an able youth force, unemployed, ready to work.
Okay,
let
me just quickly. I know we'll continue on Wednesday. Mark, are you proud of Lai Mohammed, the way he answered these journalists as a Nigerian?
This was the most appalling response a minister of information would give on an international platform.
I thought you would take it easy on him. I thought somebody should support him.
He messed us up the more because he was talking to the people that had the facts. You know, that's Deutsche Welle. Deutsche Welle is a German broadcasting network, and they are good at what they do. Now they have all their stories. And the man
he has his arsenal. He had his arsenals waiting for Lai Mohammed, and Lai Mohammed was dancing to his ear. I just have to thank you, gentlemen, or ladies and gentlemen, from Lagos, Abuja, Toronto, Moscow, Milan. This is the globe that is talking to the rest of the globe. Thank you very much until all our viewers and listeners. Until we see again on Wednesday, it's going to be glorious. God bless you all. Bye-bye.